Does everybody know what time it is?
Uptime!
That's right. FleetPride is proud to present Kevin the Shopman Linger.
Welcome back to Fleet Uptime. I am Kevin the Shopman Linger, not Shortman Linger. The problem is that we can't really do anything right now. I came in today to shoot this, and it turns out my chair's broken, and as you can hear, it's getting fixed right now. That was fast. Really goes to show the benefit of having dedicated on-site service technicians. So how does that work with a fleet and not just a seat? Let's find out. I want to welcome in Andrew Pope, an Area Services Manager with FleetPride. Andrew, how are things going today?
They're going well. I appreciate you having me on here today.
I appreciate you being here to answer my questions that I do not have the answers to. So let's get started. So first, what are the main benefits of having dedicated on-site technicians for fleet maintenance compared to using an off-site mobile service?
Well, the biggest benefit is you obviously have a tech on-site when you need it. You can schedule it. I've always scheduled techs to be on site first thing in the morning for when drivers come on duty to be able to handle any issues that come up right away to prevent downtime from the drivers, to have them keep them from waiting for minor repairs like a light being out or broken airline, something simple like that. Those techs the mobile tech can take care of that right away. So you have essentially a maintenance department on site when your drivers are there without having to worry about the drivers having to go somewhere to get it fixed. Well, and so that delays their load by, at least 2 hours. Whereas it takes a tech, maybe 20 minutes to fix something quick. And the driver's out the door again.
So you're saying for those small things, that could really potentially be the difference between getting sidelined with a violation and really increasing downtime, when you could have just, if you don't have to wait for anyone to come in, that's a very quick solution to have on hand. Very efficient.
Yes, that's correct. That you don't have to worry about having a violation for a marker light out, or a broken airline can lead to further, or a leaky airline can lead to further damage down the road. 20 minutes down the road, the driver could lock all his brakes up because the airline's broken or leaking, and damage the tires as well. And so it can save you money for sure, having that mobile tech on site, and especially first thing in the morning or when the shift starts, depending on what kind of shift you're running. They take care of those. We call them cry cards that the drivers have, and that takes care of those little things like that that would cause a driver to cry about, but not but it's not a major issue.
Right. So can having technicians on site help? Because a lot of problems don't happen in the garage, unfortunately. You're going to discover them out on the road. Mm-hmm. Can they help troubleshoot if they're not in the same physical location?
Yes, I think most mobile techs are generally more experienced and have a higher level of knowledge on their in their skill set. And so they can take a phone call from a driver and walk them through a diagnosis. A lot of times because of their knowledge and the skills that they've gained over years of experience. And if they don't have the answer, they know where to find the answers. The driver may not know where the answer, dispatcher may not know where to find the answer, but the technician will. And so my techs have always been available for their customers to answer calls from either the dispatcher or the driver to help them out, troubleshoot. Especially out here in Washington, there's a whole lot of space between, Seattle and Montana. There's a whole lot of nothing. So if a driver's broken down out there, a simple phone call that doesn't cost you anything is a lot cheaper than a $1,200 service call just to tell you need to get it towed or you had to flip a switch.
Right. Sure. Exactly. Is there a point where a fleet might get so large that it should consider, adding an extra mobile team for kind of supplemental help? And if so, what is that mm-hmm. point?
My personal opinion is that if you have more than 10 trucks, I think that's a good time to start looking at adding a mobile team, because 10 trucks you're going to have issues, especially if they're not new. You're going to have a lot of issues that come up quickly. and they're small, but they could cost you a lot of money in those cases. So I think in my experience, that's what I would recommend. And I think, and then as you grow, you can obviously add more mobile techs at that point. But I think, having a mobile tech, when you're even 10 trucks as a fleet size is probably a good recommendation.
So it's really not all one or the other. It's okay to blend both. You're not going to upset anyone to do that.
No, I think what I've always done is I've always pulled techs out of the shop and put them in service trucks as needed. So that I very rarely bring someone in fresh off as a new hire to put them in a service truck. I want to get to know them. I want to train them in our ways and how we do things before I send them out on their own.
Speaking of training, the trucking industry, it moves pretty fast. So is there a benefit to having on-site technicians when it comes to learning new technologies or company practices?
Yes, there is. I think mobile techs and even fleet maintenance companies are often have the higher experience, more experienced techs. Because that's their job they're only shops. They're only doing repairs. They're not a dealer that's selling trucks as well. They're not having to deal with a lot of warranty issues. Fleet maintenance companies have more experienced techs. They're often on the leading edge of technology as well. They have software. I know our shops all have software to diagnose. It's the dealer level software that we have. And we have the experienced techs that have been in the industry, anywhere from, 5 to 20 years. It's kind of the span that in my shop, at least when I was running it, that's the span we had. So you get experienced techs, and the ones in the trucks are generally, the journeyman level technicians that have that knowledge and experience.
Yeah, that's a good point, because not only are you able to bring them in and talk to them, but they're learning from those people who've been there longer. So by maintaining your dedicated team, you're kind of rolling that experience into the new hires too.
Yes, yeah, and we, as our company too, we offer a training program for technicians where we send them out to our internal training center, and they get trained in different aspects of repair. Anywhere from, using like a manufacturer software to, electrical diagnosis and repair, tracing the whole wiring harness on a truck to learn how to fix that and where the problems might occur and how to diagnose it in the best, most efficient way.
So we talked about it a little bit at the beginning with maybe catching that light that's out of service or fixing something, but technicians, they play a bigger role in helping maintain regulatory compliance. So would having someone on staff generally lead to catching those issues more often, maybe doing checks more regularly?
Yes, I think when you have someone on staff or having a fleet maintenance company that's working for you, you can have your own PM, preventive maintenance program, set up to where everything is getting inspected, every 90 days or whatever period you want to get ahead of the regulatory compliance inspections, which are generally, in most states, it's a year. Some states have more frequent inspections. But if you have a dedicated technician that's working on your equipment, you can have a maintenance program that's consistent and keeps you ahead of any issues that might come up. That would shut you down when you're on the road. You go through a scale house or an inspection station, because that's the last thing you want. You don't want your driver sitting there red tagged in an inspection station waiting for somebody to come out and fix them, would sign off on something that that's silly, but it's going to cost you a lot of money to go out there and get somebody out there.
Right, sure. Well, that is all of my questions, but you're my guest. If there's anything else you'd like to add that our fleet managers watching would like to know.
Yeah, I think having a mobile maintenance technician it's the way of the future. I think it's like fast moving inventory. You can have a guy on the road working at a site at your yard that can take care of all these little things and totally prevent your downtime, save you a ton of money from having on the downtime, and keep your customers happy because their loads aren't delayed getting to the stores or warehouses, wherever they're going. So it goes beyond just keeping the driver happy. It keeps the customer happy. It keeps the dispatchers happy because they're not having to juggle around drivers and loads and figure out what to do in those issues. So.
All right, Andrew Pope, thank you so much for being here today.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, it seems like no matter where your trucks are, in the garage or out on the road, there are some benefits to having dedicated technicians able to help out in the case of a crisis or just checking to make sure things are up to code. I want to thank Andrew Pope, Area Services Manager for FleetPride, for taking the time to sit down with us today to explain some things. And until next time, you know what time it is.
Uptime!